Okay, let's talk about eating and nutrition, how you can keep your brain healthy forever by thinking about what you put into your nervous system. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. I just said what you put into your nervous system, not into your belly. Remember, your gut is very strongly connected to your brain. Recently, science has shown that our guts have more neurotransmitters in them than our brain does. So there is this very strong connection between your gut health and how your brain performs. And we're going to leave it at that for right now because I want to get to the tips on what you can do to make your brain run its best through your gut. And let's talk about nutrition. So the very first thing that you can do is to detoxify. And my husband and I, we try to detox as much as possible because we're good. Don't get me wrong, we're good. And we try to be good with our children, but we also will eat treats and we'll have a couple drinks. You know, we're not living this very, very tight nutrition lifestyle like many people do. And honestly, we should be doing that, but we also like to live a little, and it just depends where you exist on that continuum. But what we do frequently is detoxification for gut repair. So in our office at Leigh Brain and Spine, my husband is a huge fan of a product called Repair Vite and Clear Vite. And they're drinks that you drink, and I drink them every morning to send into my gut all of the vitamins and minerals and enzymes that will keep my gut healthy to keep my brain performing well. And there's other ways that you can detoxify also. But so you need to see a specialist on detoxification so that you can detox your system. An easy way is just not put anything bad in it and only put good things in it. So an example of that is eating just veggies and fruits and healthy proteins and not put anything bad in, drinking tons of water. And that's easy, easy peasy. We're going to talk about some other things that you could do on top of that. Okay, food sensitivities. Another service that my husband offers is food sensitivity testing. So elimination diets are very popular these days, but they can be difficult to pull off if you don't know what you should eliminate. So if you just go onto the web and you do a Google search on elimination diet, it will tell you to eliminate a whole host of different types of foods that have different elements in it. And of course, that's great if you can really stick to a very strict eating regimen. But if you want to be able to eat a variety of foods, an awesome option is to have food sensitivity testing so you know what foods are triggering your system and creating sensitivities. And in the office, my husband uses an IgG food sensitivity test. It's a finger prick blood test, but there's other types, and there's small food sensitivity tests to very large sensitivity tests. So you can run the gamut on that, but just know that they exist. And what he does, he's able to identify hundreds of foods that could be triggering your system, and they will be identified if you are very sensitive to them, mildly sensitive, or not sensitive at all. And then you know which ones you need to take out for your brain to run better. And people really love it. And when you take those foods out that you're highly sensitive to, you feel and perform better, which is awesome. Okay, so just improving your diet overall. And like I said to you, we eat really well. There's tons of room for improvement in our diet. And our diet, my husband and my diet, is much better than the average American, but it still isn't the very best. The easy things to take out are sugar, grains, alcohol, and caffeine. All of them artificially either dysregulate the system in some way, and they can throw the system for a loop. One other really important thing that I need you to know, and I have a whole huge PowerPoint on it, is that in today's day and age, we need nutritional supplementation. It's proven by science that our soil quality, our vegetable quality, not just vegetables, but our produce quality, vegetables and fruits, and our water quality has all gone down. So what that means is when you buy fruits and veggies, they no longer have the minerals and the vitamins in them, literally, that they had 50 years ago. So the best thing that you can do is eat organic foods. And I know that that is more expensive. Trust me, I know, because I'm feeding 7 to 8 people at all times. Very expensive. So I'm going to show you what organic foods you really should use, and those that maybe you could get around. Okay, first of all, you need to think of food as fuel. And that's how I think of food as fuel. So do you want to put the highest quality fuel into your system, or do you want to put junk into your system? Anytime you eat processed foods or sugar, anything from the pantry really is probably not good for you. And, I have a lot of kids, so yes, I have pantry products. Actually, I don't eat any of them myself, but the children eat it, and I buy the organic version of the pantry food. So like we have a lot of Annie's products. Not that they really eat macaroni and cheese, but I buy the Annie's bunnies, cheddar bunnies and that, because they want snacky foods, but at least it's organic snacky foods that don't have any pesticides in them. The best food for you is just fruits and veggies, clean, lean protein, and healthy fats. So in cooking, we use avocado oil. You do not want to use olive oil because it becomes toxic at high temperatures. Look it up. I'm just the messenger. If you have never heard that before, it's totally true. Use a high temp oil. Avocado oil is a great one that has healthy fats that can handle high heats without becoming toxic. And really, you should only use olive oil in salad dressings and things like that, things that are not at high temperature. Fruits and veggies, you want to eat as many of them as possible following these rules. You want to avoid the SAD diet. The standard American diet is a SAD one. It's gray. So if you eat a sandwich, it's gray bread with gray turkey with gray mayo on it. If you're only eating things that are gray, your system will be a hurting unit. You need to eat the rainbow. So you want to make sure the majority of your diet is like this. Up here, we see lots of veggies. We see ginger. That's using herbs and spices as medicine. We have ginger up here. We have nuts. There's studies that show people who eat nuts daily have better cognitive abilities longer in life. There's a cool book called The Blue Zone. You can check that out. Avocado, eggs for protein. We have garlic here. I use fresh garlic in all of the cooking. I already told you that I like to cook. So I use fresh organic garlic. I chop it up. I let it sit there for 10 minutes so its medicinal qualities can come to life. So you can really, without it being very difficult, you can add some really healthy elements to your food and have it be fun. There's lots of cookbooks on it, and there's a lot of great information out there. One easy rule, and I try to teach my children to do this, and anybody who'll listen to me actually, and not that I'm the most fit person in the world, but a rule for me easily to follow is to eat more protein than carbs. I always eat protein and carbs together, and I try to eat more protein than carbs. So if I have nuts and an apple, so a lot of times as a snack, I'll have a handful of nuts and an apple, and that's more protein than carbs, but eating the two together. And then, like I just said, if you're going to have a turkey sandwich, you want it to be a turkey sandwich. You want your bread as thin as possible so you have more protein than carbs. You want to add lettuce. You want to add tomatoes. You want to add as many vegetables as possible so that you're eating mostly veggies with protein and a little bit of carbs. Follow that rule alone and your life will become better. And you want to add herbs and spices as medicine and make it fun. So I have been wanting an herb garden, but honestly, I have not pulled it off. We bought tons of herbs, we planted them, and they died in the North Carolina heat. And my husband is dying to buy me a hydroponic herb garden that you put on your counter from Williams-Sonoma. Maybe I'll let him buy it. It seems cool, but it also defeats the purpose of an herb garden, but maybe I would be successful. And it's big. It sits on the kitchen counter, but then I would have fresh herbs. Right now I buy fresh organic herbs from the store to use in my cooking. And, it's just basil and thyme, fresh parsley, fresh cilantro, and it really adds a lot of flavor, really lovely flavor while it's giving you healthy benefits. Okay, pesticides. Why eat organic? This is not, that you need to eat organic, but you need to know what the pesticides are doing to your brain. And there's studies that show that pesticides are associated with cognitive decline, with worse memory, with autism and reduced IQ. There's studies that show pesticides are bad for your brain functioning. And right here is a picture of a typical child's brain showing locations where pesticide exposure is associated with cortical thinning. And you can see that in the colored areas, that's cortical thinning. We talked about the cortex being that main area of the brain, and we want it big and fat and healthy as possible. And another good supplement while I'm thinking about it is DHA with EPA. And we sell it at Leigh Brain and Spine. And you're beefing up the myelin on the cells in your cortex so it won't thin. You're protecting your brain there. And that would be part of having healthy brain cells. But avoiding pesticides as much as possible will help your brain stay big and fat and healthy. So just remember that. And this is a short list from the Consumer Reports recommendations of things that you should always buy organic versus things that you can get away buying non-organic options. And I want you to think about it logically, is that the items that are very permeable that the pesticides can get through the skins, like peaches, carrots, strawberries, green beans, sweet peppers, and raspberries, blackberries, those types of things, you really always want to buy organic. And many times you can find them for not that much more expensive in the organic version than non-organic. Broccoli, I always wash mine really, really well if I buy non-organic. Oranges, because you're peeling the peel. Lettuce, onions, grapes, things with a tougher skin that the pesticides don't go through. So start here with the options that you buy in the organic version, and you can skimp over here if it's financially difficult for you to do. You can buy organic bread basically now, and I will tell you where we're located. I know some people are not going to like this I'm about to say, but you don't have to like it. I shop at Walmart a lot. It's the closest store to us, and the one that is close to me has lots and lots of organic options. So we always buy organic milk if I buy dairy, which a lot of times I don't. We buy organic breads. There's basically an organic version. I always buy organic frozen fruit. We buy organic spinach. You can find reasonably priced organic food at Walmart if you live in a location that has one that carries a lot of organic foods. And I know that does vary across the country, but keep that in mind. And, a lot of my friends shop at Trader Joe's. I don't go to a warehouse store, but with my kids, I always need something from the grocery store and from the non-grocery store, and it's the closest store to us. So as much as I love to hate it as the next person, it becomes an easy option for me. So if it's an easy option for you, go for it. And we buy organic soups. So just food for thought. Okay, up next, screen time. It's going to be an awesome, awesome lesson. Follow me through, and I'm going to tell you what electronics do to your brain, how to moderate your electronic use so that you can get your brain into its best mode and keep it there long term. I'll see you in the next lesson.